Welcome to this explainer, okay? Let's just dive right into this. Today, we're going to guide you through the ultimate step-by-step journey of building a modern freelance design career. Look, the landscape has shifted a ton over the last few years, and we really need to look closely at what it actually takes to succeed today. We'll be pulling in some crucial insights from design curriculum fundamentals, project management templates, and current freelance platform strategies to give you the whole shebang.
So this is the multi-million-dollar question, right? You might be an aspiring designer who spent hours, or honestly, maybe even days, perfecting this stunning logo or a beautiful website mock-up, only to find that your inbox is, well, completely empty, just crickets. It's an incredibly frustrating feeling. You've got these bold, brilliant ideas, but how do you actually translate them into a thriving, booked-out independent business? Well, that is exactly the gap we're going to bridge today.
All right, here's our 2026 freelance roadmap. We'll be covering foundations of visual thinking, crafting the mood board, the creative brief blueprint, AI design tools in 2026, Fiverr versus Upwork, and finally, launching your career. Let's get to it.
Section 1. Foundations of Visual Thinking.
Our journey begins right inside the designer's mind, because before you ever touch a software tool, whether it's some fancy new AI or traditional software, you absolutely have to master the core fundamentals. These are the building blocks that literally separate a messy amateur from a highly paid professional. Take color, for instance. Mastering color theory and psychology ensures that every palette you create evokes a very distinct emotion or atmosphere. Combine that with a really solid grasp of typography, spacing, and layout composition, and suddenly you've got balanced designs with clear hierarchy and visual flow. It's kind of like a giant puzzle, organizing elements so perfectly that they effortlessly draw the viewer's eye exactly where you want it to go.
Section 2. Crafting the mood board.
Okay, so once you have those foundational skills locked down, we move to the very first practical step of any real-world project. This quote right here is an absolute mantra for modern designers. Every great design begins with an even better story. A mood board isn't just a random collage of pretty pictures. No way. You really have to weave together images, textures, and patterns to tell a compelling narrative. If you're working with an eco-friendly startup, for example, whose mission is to revolutionize sustainable living, your mood board needs to immediately convey their vibrant, forward-thinking personality through a cohesive visual narrative.
A digital mood board absolutely must start with strategic research. You need a brand identity snapshot, so things like their mission and unique selling propositions, alongside a really deep target audience analysis. Why? Because these strategic elements actively dictate the bold colors and captivating textures you end up choosing. It ensures your board actually resonates deeply with the specific demographics of the ideal customer, rather than just being a cluttered, confusing layout of cool images that don't mean anything.
Section 3. The Creative Brief Blueprint.
Now let's transition over to the designer's desk. You've got your mood board and your visual story, but how do you structure this into an actionable plan that a client can actually sign off on? Well, you need a professional framework, starting with the why. Before designing anything, you absolutely must document the project's purpose, the core message you're trying to say, and the ultimate impact this project is going to have. Honestly, if you don't define the why right up front, your project is basically lost before it even begins.
It's really important to note how defining creative deliverables and analyzing the target audience have to work side by side. You're clearly defining the fundamental creative components, things like style guides or specific brand assets, but your stylistic choices cannot happen in a vacuum. They have to be developed right alongside a strict, data-driven understanding of exactly who the brand is actually trying to reach. Next up, you've got to ground the project in reality. You need a competitive analysis to track competitor references and stylistic inspirations within similar industries, and you have to pair that with a strict schedule of deadlines. Studying competitors provides your creative fuel and inspiration, while setting firm timelines ensures that this brilliant project of yours actually gets delivered to the client on time.
So, to quickly summarize, this is your fail-proof blueprint for execution. You start by researching brand identity and values, you meticulously analyze the target audience, define the creative components, and then you lock it all in with competitive references and a firm schedule. Following this exact workflow is what turns a chaotic design process into a premium, highly professional client experience.
Section 4. AI Design Tools in 2026. All right, with our blueprints totally in place, let's talk software. In 2026, solopreneurs have to navigate a super rapidly evolving landscape of essential technologies. And this brings us to a massive debate currently dividing the independent design community. Do you lean heavily on Canva AI or do you integrate Adobe Firefly?
Let's look at this entirely neutrally. because both tools serve very distinct purposes. Canva AI is incredibly popular due to its free tier accessibility and is highly streamlined for rapid, everyday tasks that a solopreneur might need to just knock out quickly. On the flip side, Adobe Firefly is deeply integrated into professional, complex design workflows, making it the go-to choice for really intensive, deep visual generation. Ultimately, the right choice simply depends on your specific workflow needs, your budget, and of course, the complexity of the project at hand.
Section 5, Fiverr versus Upwork. So you've got the skills, the brief, and the tools. Now it's time to actually get paid. Let's look at the top 2 freelance giants. Fiverr basically operates as a storefront system. You set up your gigs, design some stunning thumbnails, and then you wait for clients to come to you. It's a fantastic set-it-and-forget-it model that's ideal for one-off, productized tasks, like designing a single logo for a fixed price. Upwork, conversely, is a bidding system where you actively pitch to clients who post jobs. It is much better suited for complex, long-term relationships, like an ongoing brand identity project where you might be charging an hourly rate.
But what about landing that notoriously difficult first client when you have literally 0 reviews and it's just the sound of crickets in your inbox? Well, here is the stark reality. Fiverr relies entirely on algorithmic patience and gig SEO. You need the exact right keywords, and honestly, it might take some agonizing weeks, but once you secure a few 5-star reviews, the algorithm basically does the heavy lifting for you. Upwork, however, gives you active, daily control. You don't just sit around waiting to be found. If you're a skilled communicator, a brilliantly written, totally personalized proposal can actually win you a job today over a designer who has years of platform experience. It's a real game changer.
Section 6. Launching your career.
Wow, we've covered a massive amount of ground today, from visual theory all the way to the freelance platforms. The absolute best strategy for a beginner right now is to avoid totally overwhelming yourself. Do not try to master both platforms at the exact same time. Pick the one that naturally matches your personality and how you prefer to work. Dedicate your entire first month strictly to optimizing your profile, rigorously studying successful competitors in your niche, and committing to consistently delivering excellent, well-structured work based on those exact creative briefs we discussed earlier. You now have the foundational knowledge. You know exactly how to craft a compelling visual narrative, and you understand how the marketplaces actually operate. The tools and platforms are out there right now, just waiting for your talent. So what does this all mean for you? Which path will you conquer first? Take a deep breath, set up your profile today, and take that exciting first step. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.